last time we talked about symbols and how symbols are these complex images that stand in for a bigger idea. And we did all of this work to analyze the prison door symbol in the beginning of the Scarlet Letter. But we can do this work with metaphors as well. So the definition that I want you to write down for metaphor, it is a figure of speech. A figure of speech in which a word is applied. A figure of speech in which a word is applied to an object or action. Say it again. A figure of speech in which a word is applied to an object or action to which it is not literally applicable. To which it is not literally applicable. I'll say the whole thing a couple more times. A figure of speech in which a word is applied to an object or action to which it is not literally applicable. Okay, does anyone need one more repeat? A figure of speech in which a word is applied to an object or action to which it is not literally applicable. So a lot of people have been taught that it is a thing that is representative of something else, and that is absolutely true. But I think it's a bit of a narrow, it makes us think about metaphors a little bit narrowly. And we want to think about how anything that is not literal is a metaphor. So this thing, this twisting horror, a writhing horror twisted itself across his face, all of that is metaphorical, right? It's not actually that horror, a feeling of horror is visible on a face and it's actually twisting and we can see it. It's all metaphorical. So we want to think about any time that language is not being literal, it could be a metaphor, and that is including similes, because the way it actually works is that it's like these are metaphors. Everything in the box is a metaphor, but there's something more specific that we can call similes, and there's other ones too. There's something called metonymy. Actually, and within metonymy, there's something called synecdoche, and we will talk about, I don't know how to spell it either. We will talk about all of those. But all you need to know right now is that metaphor is like the overarching definition of any time you don't mean something literally. Make sense? Okay, cool. So this is your example then that I want you to write down in the example box. It's from the beginning of chapter 3 of the Scarlet Letter. It's describing Chillingworth. Chillingworth, he doesn't have the S. And it says, a writhing horror twisted itself across his features, like a snake gliding swiftly over them, and marking one little pause with all its wreathed intervolutions in open sight. I'm sorry, I wrote it very quickly. My handwriting is bad, but do your best with that. What we really care about is the beginning part. So you're writing that in the box that says example. Oh, I'll move. Yeah, it says swiftly over them and marking, which looks terrible, marking one little pause with all its wreathed intervolutions in open sight. Yeah, sorry about that. Okay, and we're just going to practice this just like last time. Tell me about snakes. What are snakes like?
Rubbery.
Did someone say rubbery?
Yeah.
Well, great. Let's start with rubbery. Okay, what else are snakes?
You never held the snake.
It's like, yeah, that's true. Tell me about snakes.
Muscly.
These are, I've never actually gotten these in this discussion before, rubbery and muscly. I like this. Isaac?
I would say a lot of people say
Creepy, okay.
Long.
Long. What else? Yeah, Christina.
Windy.
Winding.
Venomous.
Venomous. Yeah, some of them are going to kill you, right? David?
It's very like, I guess, I think the word like profile in a way. Like it's like defined and because it's just one.
Deceit.
Does that make any sense?
Oh, it's like,
Like it's very rigid and defined. Rather than-
yeah. I like that. You're saying like it doesn't have like bumps or it's just all one thing. Oh, interesting. It's like consistent. Yeah, Lily.
Cunning.
Good. I'm gonna add consistent up here. Cunning. Yes. What was that?
Deceitful.
Deceitful. Okay, I think we are pointing to a very common allusion to the snake, right? Where are we used to seeing the snake in literature? First and foremost.
Harry Potter.
Adam and Eve.
Yeah.
The Bible. Harry Potter, the Bible.
Yeah, the Bible. I was thinking of Satan. So I mean, we have it's associated. It's devil adjacent at least, right? But it's like it either the snake is the devil or it's associated with deviltry. And so a lot of times, like when we think of like demons or whatever, it's got parts of it that are snake, like a forked tongue or something like that. Actually, let's put that up there. Forked tongue. Which is another word for saying cunning and deceitful. What are some other characteristics of snakes that we would like to say? Devious.
Healing.
Healing. What do you mean? When are they healing?
Well,
Whoa.
like, say like the same thing in the Bible.
Yeah, the
Moses
staff.
had the serpent thing and looked at me.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. Good. Yeah.
I'd say they're not neutral. They're either good or they're bad.
Okay. Good. Not neutral. Yeah, we know that they have some symbolic importance whenever they show up. They're like, to use that word we were using last time, they're overdetermined. They've got tons of instances when they've been symbolic in literature, and you're saying it's either all good or all bad. Yeah, Nathan?
This is not a specific word, but they shed their skin.
Good, yeah.
Used in a lot of metaphors.
Shed the skin. Good.
Introvert.
Scaly. Yeah, they are introverts, aren't they?
And they're very shy.
Are snakes maternal ever?
Yes,
They can be?
they can be.
Okay, so maybe that doesn't help because some of them are and
Well,
some of them aren't.
some of them aren't. But some of them are.
Okay. Snakes don't eat their young then. They're not that
Well,
kind.
some of them do.
Some of them do. Okay, good. So then maybe they're like unknown. They're a little mysterious. And then they always, to go back to Harry Potter, they're always hissing.
Active
Yeah. What did you say? Active?
or lazy.
Active or lazy. Okay, good. Like me. Active or lazy. Yeah.
Cold-blooded.
Yeah, good. Cold-blooded. All right, let's go with this. Okay, now using all of these observations that we made about snakes, let's apply them then to how we were supposed to read Chillingsworth. Now, this is the first time we have seen this man. Let me read the paragraph. At his arrival at the marketplace, and sometime before she saw him, the stranger had bent his eyes on Hester Prynne. Prynne. It was carelessly at first, like a man chiefly accustomed to look inward, and to whom external matters are of little value and import, unless they bear relation to something within his mind. Very soon, however, his look became keen and penetrative. A writhing horror twisted itself across his features like a snake, gliding swiftly over them, and making one little pause with all its wreathed intervolutions like twistiness in open sight. His face darkened with some powerful emotion, which nevertheless he so instantaneously controlled by an effort of his will that, save at a single moment, its expression might have passed for calmness. Okay, considering this is the very first time we have ever seen this character under effects on that form, I want you to write about the effect of using a snake as a metaphor there. And you can think of it this way. Why did Hawthorne choose a snake to represent the expression on Chillingworth's face? if you're wondering how to do this, scan up and see how I talked about it in the symbol section. That's kind of the level of detail I'm looking for.